Welcome to the Elite Life Podcast with your hosts, Trisha and Kylee. Here, we guide you on a journey of personal and professional transformation, revealing the secrets to success. Whether you're a seasoned pro or just starting out, join us as we unlock the doors to the elite world of growth, grit, and grace. So, let's dive in.
Welcome, friends, to another episode of the Elite Life Podcast. We are so glad to have you here with us today. I am Trisha, and with me, as always, is my wonderful co-host, Kylee.
That's me. And I'm also excited because joining us today is Chrissy Grigoropoulos. She's a powerhouse of accomplishment. She finished high school at the age of 16, which is amazing. Received her BA from St. Joseph's College at 19, also amazing, like every parent's dream. She earned her JD from Western Michigan University's Thomas Cooley Law School, whoop whoop, representing. And she's the founding partner of the Grigoropoulos Law Group, a corporate real estate broker at Property Shark Realty, Inc., and CEO of IME Sharks. I mean,
wow.
The list keeps going because she also published a book that just dropped in June called Lady Shark. In her book, Chrissy offers a transformative roadmap to conquer self-doubt, tap into your inner strength, and achieve the financial freedom necessary to craft the life that you always dreamed of. So welcome to the show, Chrissy.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you.
Yes, we're so excited that you're here to chat with us today. So we're just going to jump right in. We always like to start with a little background on our guests so our listeners can kind of get to know all about you. So kind of start at the beginning of the story, like where did you come from? What brought you to where you are today?
Sure. So, I mean, where did I come from? I came from my mom. No. I'm Greek. My dad immigrated here when he was about 18 years old. So he definitely instilled a lot of work hard and you can do whatever you want to do in life type of, backing. And I always, pretty much from a young age, knew I wanted to be an attorney. So I knew there was a ton of school. My dad had a property. Unfortunately, the house ended up blowing up. One of the tenants that was just left the barbecue with the propane on inside the house. One of my dad's workers went to look on the outside of the house to see if he wanted to rent it until my dad got there. Fortunately, he was smoking a cigarette and opened the window and it was pretty crazy stuff. So I was, I guess it was 6-year-old Chrissy was going with my dad to a deposition to try to get obviously insurance money for the house that's now nothing and to the ground.
Right.
And he was talking about how expensive the lawyer was. And I'm like, well, he's like, you should be a lawyer. I'm like, I should. What do lawyers do? And he's like, well, they fight all day and they make a lot of money. I'm like, oh, I could do that. So pretty much from a young age, I knew I wanted to be a lawyer in whatever capacity at a 6-year-old, mentality you would have in adolescence. But I pushed through and I knew that it was a long journey. So I was able to, I guess, find my own way. I'm the most educated in my family. So I found the way and was guided accordingly, I guess, by the stars above to speak with a guidance counselor, try to double up on classes to finish, high school at 16, and then just blow through college in 3 years by taking intersession and summer classes. And then I worked for about a year. I had a hard time actually getting into law schools in New York. Because of my age. They thought it was a very high risk and that usually people at the age of 19 don't know what the hell they want. So they want to risk having a 19-year-old in law school because once you don't make it through, they lose money per head, obviously for the remaining years that you're not there. So I was offered scholarship money to go to Michigan. I'd never been to Michigan my whole life. I actually didn't even visit the school. I'm like, okay, buy 2 credits, get 1 free. Sounds good enough for me. And that's pretty much what I did. So I finished law. I started law school in 2010, finished in 2013, and have been working ever since. I started my own firm in 2016 after working for what I call the devils of the business. That taught me, the good, the bad, the indifferent. And I have been, trying to push through ever since. So from one small little office inside of a real estate firm that my dad actually knew, that transformed now into, we just opened up our third office, 4,000 square foot office in Long Island. So we have a Queens location on the border of Brooklyn and Queens, one in the Bronx, and now our newest location and biggest is in Hempstead. So that's where we're at as far as the law firm is concerned. I started really doing real estate as more of a hobby. My dad obviously was an investor in construction. He came here with no education, so he came from, being a day laborer and things like that to, owning his own building and things like that. And one became multiple. And he basically showed me how you can fix things and flip them. And I loved, even the, just picking out toilet and countertops and making things look pretty from having, not such of a nice property that no one really wanted because it was in such bad shape. You make it beautiful and you flip it. And I have my real estate license. I'm a corporate broker. So we basically evolved there. So that, explains the brokerage. And as far as the IME Sharks, basically it piggybacks off of the personal injury firm, which allows me to have, I don't like using the word competition because there's so much work for everyone. But with IME Sharks, what it does is it allows me to have business from people that do the same thing that I do by representing injured workers. So, excuse me, that basically helps that business, basically thrive on, job security with or without a law license.
Oh my goodness, so many spinning plates there. And I love that like you have this core memory as a child that really just was the catalyst. I feel like it relates a lot. It's very similar to your story, Trish. Like I feel like of all of our family, you were definitely one of the leaders with like doing the entrepreneurial thing and like being successful and making the money and things like that. And I'm just like on her little coattails right behind her. But I love that you had that core memory and the fact that your parents really supported you and pushed you to do that. It's really a testament to, what you can do if you set your mind to it. And I love that you have that connection to Michigan because I was thinking I took the LSAT and then I decided I was a paralegal for a long time and I was like, well, this is a lot of responsibility.
For sure.
But also your story speaks so much to just being brave and fierce and taking action and just moving forward no matter what. Like you went up against a lot of adversity being younger and then journeying out to a new state and a new place you had never been. And being younger, like I remember being a teenager and I lived in Michigan and went to college in Michigan and it was scary because it was a big new place. I couldn't imagine being even younger than that and just like, here we go, we're doing the things. That's so fierce and so inspiring.
Oh,
it's awesome.
It's definitely a change of pace. I mean, I learned which part of the hand do you live on? That was a big thing. And I honestly was so ignorant to the different upstate to state lifestyles. I'm like, okay, I'm going to live in the capital of Michigan, so it's a little mini Manhattan, right? And boy, was I wrong.
Psych.
The opposite. Although before I moved back, I was actually a public defender in Washtenaw County, right by Detroit. So that was more of the New York City type of movement that, I was like
used to
who I was going to be living in, but it was nice. It was very nice. I'd made really good friends from there, a lot from Canada as well, because it's like right north of Michigan, but it was definitely shocking. It was a culture shock and I was never really away from family. So it was definitely lonely, but I would always, hear my dad's words. He would say, well, remember why you went there. I would always, whenever I would study and go through that really hard time during finals that you had to like forget the whole world existed. And I would
literally
piece of paper, like, how bad do you want this? You want to give up, you want to go to sleep, but are you going to pass these exams? The one exam grade that's going to say whether you're going to continue to become a lawyer or you're going to fail out. So it was definitely difficult. Law school was the hardest thing that I've ever done, even harder than the bar exam, which most people, not most people, I don't want to say that, but it's very difficult to pass with the bar exam on your first time. And I just was so scared to fail it on the first time because I felt like it would, embed something in me that if I failed once, I'll never pass. So I focused a lot on it and just really law school was my real struggle in life. So I was definitely happy to be done with that and move forward once it was completed.
Yeah, and I love how you talked about how you've diversified into multiple different not only revenue streams, but different industries too that complement each other. Because we actually just recorded a podcast
We did.
and said exactly that. Like, make sure that you have multiple things going on, because if something chaotic happens, like in real estate, we're dealing with the NAR lawsuit, you have this other thing that if this gets bumpy, I know this one's still going smooth, and vice versa.
Backup plan, A, B, C, D, E. It's hard because, for me, I'm like obviously a provider for my family, but now I've established myself to be really the main provider for all of my employees. I have 4 lawyers that work for me. I have, I can't even count how many paralegals that are in my offices and things like that. So if I don't do well, it's not only my family that's not going to eat, it's so many other families that now I'm the mommy of, that I need to make sure that we have some way, shape, or form to make sure everybody stays afloat.
I feel that they call me mom at the office too.
We do.
So
We do.
I'm right there with you, sister.
We do. Like, we'll see her coming in through the window out to the park, and I'm like, shh, mom's here, behave.
Exactly. My staff have gotten me like a mama shark even before I was a mom. I have 2 young girls now. I have another one cooking, but
Yay! Congrats.
years now. Thank you. So
3's a good number. I have 3. I have 2 girls and a boy. I've got the 10-year-old Diva, the 8-year-old feral daughter, and I will tell you that second one, she's gonna evolve into something. She's gonna evolve into like that middle child situation. So I got you on my prayer list, girl.
I also have 2 girls, and this one's going to be a boy, so we're in the same place.
There we go. Yeah, boys it's a whole different ball game. It is a whole different ball game.
Everyone says that.
Boys are easier.
Really?
I think
no.
so.
I don't know if I would say they're easier.
Well, your boy's still a baby, though. My boy's 20.
That's
Almost
fair.
21.
That's
so
fair.
I got
She's
the full
got the
journey.
perspective. She's got the perspective for sure.
We both are so young, so I'm like in shock, like in awe that your children are even in the ages that you just said. So
It's the filters, honey. It's the filters.
really fun.
Filters or fillers?
Filters or fillers. It's one of those.
God bless
So
technology.
I wanted to kind of ask a little bit. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands. I've got a Ricky Bobby moment going on. I wanted to know a little bit about like the release of your book. I'm an aspiring author. I just finished my manuscript. I am going to publish. That's on my 411. It must get done. I'm going to publish this year. I'm in a different genre than you. I'm writing like some kind of weird political thriller. But I want to know like what happened that led you to like writing this book. Like, what was the catalyst moment where you were like, I have to write this stuff down?
Such a good question. And it's like, I've been asked it before, and I feel like every time I like add something more, just as an aside with the climate that we're in right now, your book is going to do amazing. I'm always asked, like, how do you do it? How do you have enough hours in the day? What goes on? And I also hear on the other side, like, I could never do that, and I could never this, and I could never that. And I've been in this position for so long, I could never be an entrepreneur, or I could never have, this type of income stream. And I hate hearing that, because I feel like it's people shooting themselves in the foot and or excusing away the complacency and feeling, down on themselves. And you know what? In my world, when I was in law school, or even when I was like a paralegal, or before becoming an attorney or an admitted attorney, I would look at these lawyers that were, older men that were, probably 60s, and they were these perfect figures that knew everything and got everything perfect. And I'm like, oh my God, how did they get there? How am I going to do it? And no one knows what they're doing. Everyone just looks like they're doing. And when you're a junior associate and you're the one that's, sitting there and making things function, because the people that have been there and doing that job for 20 years have no idea how to do this new object or obstacle that's now there, you really realize that everyone pretends to know what they're doing, and on a case-by-case basis is really how they accomplish it. And I think that a lot of people in the world of success, they're just like, oh, well, the word success means something different to everyone, and it seems unattainable to those who don't know what it means. And what I wanted to provide to the world was, you can be successful. You figure out what does that word mean for you? Figure out where your financial freedom is in the realm of even a money value, or what your bills are. And honestly, a lot of people just have the foundation, in shambles. And if you don't have a strong foundation as far as financial literacy, how can you have a savings account if you don't even know what you spend on a month-to-month basis? So it's pretty much giving a guide and a basis of where to start and how to really be successful by taking a look at yourself and really trying to give you the fake it till you make it, but authentic, outlook on life.
I love that because I feel that in the real estate industry too, and I'm sure you experience this a lot, like with the agents that you interact with. Like one of the first questions I asked in Stars training was, well, what do I tell people when they ask me how long I've been in the business? Like nobody ever actually asks you that. And I feel like especially with, with real estate, like you learn a lot on the job. I mean, the licensing course literally teaches you how to pass the test and stay out of jail. And everything else, I was just telling a new recruit, that I'm talking to, she's going to come to us as soon as she graduates, but she's like, how can I learn? How can I grow? And I'm like, start reading personal development. I mean, she's 15 right now. And I'm like, if you can cultivate the habit of discipline and consistency, you can literally win at everything. You can win at everything.
Such a good age.
For sure.
Sorry to get my book. Honestly, it's really being with whatever business you're in, whether it's real estate, law, anything that has to do with sales. Even if you don't think you're in sales, I bet you're still selling yourself, and you need to put your best foot forward. And the fake it till you make it attitude, a lot of people by nature are just introverts, and you have to force yourself to feel uncomfortable and break the ice, because that's how you're going to get to your next number. That's going to help you move forward. When it comes to real estate, you could be at the supermarket and speaking to someone, and then before you know it, you have a new client. So
exactly,
really just that confidence that you need to, force out of it, yourself in order to move forward. So I definitely think that a lot of people have what it takes, but they're just, insecure about it. And that's okay, because you have to believe in yourself before someone else is going to believe in you, though.
Absolutely.
That's a beautiful thing. Yeah, absolutely. You talk about salary versus skills mindset in your book, and I wanted to hear a little bit more about that and kind of how individuals can navigate that gap and build a fulfilling career.
For sure. It's a great question. So when you're talking about salary versus, actually skill set, so many people, they're not in their 30s that read my book. They're not in their 40s sometimes, and they're reading my book. And they're like, how do I still get financial freedom for me, for my family? And when you're in a job that you've been for 10 years, you're like, I would never quit my secure job in order to be an entrepreneur and have a new business that's risky and things of that nature. So you want to take the skills that you have, because plenty of moms are amazing meal preppers. They're amazing charcuterie board makers. They're amazing organizers, event planners. There's so many things that you can do with your skills, and start it as what I call either a baby business or a side hustle, and really nurture it. Make an Instagram page, make a Facebook page, recruit all your friends, recruit the moms if you know moms and your kids are in school, or your coworkers, and then nurture it and do it on the side and take those skills, and then you have a new income stream. And sometimes that baby business turns into be a monster business, and then you really feel more secure stepping away from that 9 to 5 that you've had for so long that has provided you that stability, but not really that income that you really are looking for in order to have the time to vacation, the time to really buy whatever the hell you want and things of that nature. Or you have both income streams and you're doing great, and you can get an assistant and have them run it. It's really, the possibilities are endless, but you definitely want to think about what you're good at. And when you're good at something, you don't need to invest into buying a business, and you don't need to invest in so many things as far as, materials are concerned. If you're an organizer, I had a woman come to my house. She was a stay-at-home, and she gets paid for 3 hours. It's like $325 to organize clothes. And I'm like, wow, like paralegals and attorneys sometimes don't get paid $100 an hour. That's wild. But I'm not good at organizing my clothes, so I need that skill set that she's not paying anything. What did she pay for the gas to come to the house? That's about it. But that's an amazing side business, and she can still raise her children, have the freedom to make the schedule as she would like, and boom, you have a brand new business, and there's a need for it.
I love that. And also,
I do too.
Thinking about what people don't want to do. Like, I have a friend and she has a pet waste removal, and I was just moving her into Northville, which is a more affluent area. And she's like, well, will people like want this service? And I'm like, girl, I don't want to clean my house, make my own food, or clean up my dog poop. Absolutely. You will get so many more clients and they'll pay more money because they don't want to do it.
But you also have to think of it as a bit like your hour of cleaning up dog poop is you may make $5,000 in an hour, $500 in an hour. Why wouldn't you pay someone $50 for you to make that extra $50 doing what you are good at doing and have something with a peace of mind already done for you?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
I love that so much. So when we were going over like the themes and stuff in your book, you kind of talk about like opportunity mapping and how crucial that is in your strategy. Can you explain a little bit on like how to like spot and leverage opportunities that others might overlook?
When it comes to opportunity mapping and actually spotting something that may be missed by other people, I talk about a couple different things in my book. The first one was with real estate. Back in 2021, when my daughter was first born in September, we found a deal. We ended up closing on it in December for, I believe it was like $230,000 for like a little 2-bedroom cottage, out east in Long Island. We were able to convert that to 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom from a 2-bedroom, 1-bathroom. And we were able to fix it and flip it within a year and make, about $100,000, maybe a little bit more. But that house was on the market sitting there for a while because everyone that would look at it would be like, what the? I don't want that. I want nothing to do with that. No real outlook on how to make it something that could be profitable. So you really have to think outside the box when you see potential opportunities, and see why did other people pass it up and how maybe they didn't see what you see and how you can spot something. So I definitely spoke with that regard about an opportunity. And then on the other side, there's opportunity spotting just by using your ears, just listening. I talk about in my book, I was getting my eyelashes done one time, and there was a woman next to me that happened to be talking to her technician and talking about how she was a recruiter for an architecture firm, a big architecture firm, and she would go to colleges and recruit architecture students that were ready to graduate. And of course, I'm thinking, oh my God, my nephew is in school. He's, about to graduate soon in another year. So with my eyes closed, I'm like, listen, I'm sorry to, to overhear your conversation, but I needed to ask, where do you recruit from? My nephew's actually in school for that. And she's like, oh, where does he go to school? I'm like, Syracuse. She goes, oh, we definitely recruit from there. So fast forward a little while later, as I was doing my nails after the whole eyelash thing, I had a woman come up to me. Obviously, I didn't see what she looked like. Gave me her card, gave me her information. I was able to give her my business card and give that information to my nephew. And who knows, maybe that could be his next job. So things like that, when you step outside your comfort zone, just by listening and opportunity, spotting and hearing and navigate through something that you I will never see this woman again. Maybe I will, who knows, by chance. But if you don't open your mouth when you're overhearing something, there's a reason why everything happens. So you need to step outside again in the comfort zone and push yourself out there and try to seek out an opportunity. It could be nothing, but hey, it could be something.
Yeah, absolutely. Like I tell the story all the time where I was, and I do this regularly. I'll go into the gas station. I don't always pay at the pump because I want opportunities to interact with people. And so I'll go in and I'll pay and, you start the conversation. Hey, how's your day going? And they're like, it's a reciprocity thing. When someone asks you how your day is going, you automatically say, oh, I'm good. How's your day going? And that gave me an opportunity to say, oh, I'm a real estate agent. So it's one of those crazy days where I've got closings. I got this, I got that. Well, wouldn't you know it, the guy who owns the gas station is an investor. So I was able to hand over my card, get his information,
beautiful,
and help him find a couple flips. Like you just said, you never know where that next opportunity is going to come from. And I love that you have that outline and you have that mindset of having that vision and having that perspective.
Perfect. Yeah. And what you're saying, it seems something so simple, but it's so difficult for a lot of people to do that. And it's such a smart, even just a little pointer like that is so good.
Chrissy, everything you said was so amazing. We have loved having you on the show. Thank you so much for your time and all your expertise. I am super pumped to go and get your book, Lady Shark. We will make sure that there is a link in the show notes so you guys can read the book, get more great knowledge from Chrissy. We will also link all of her contact information so that you can go check out her socials and things of that nature. And we just want to thank all you guests for getting together with us today on the Elite Life podcast.
Yeah, and make sure you subscribe to the show because we drop fresh content every single Thursday. So come back next week for another episode of the Elite Life.
Bye.
Thank you for joining us today on the Elite Life podcast with Trish and Kylee. Don't forget to share this episode with a friend so we can keep delivering you more fantastic insights on grit, grace, and growth. Stay connected with us on Instagram and Facebook, where we'll keep the ideas flowing to help you build a life you love and leave a legacy you can be proud of. Until next time.